Up next on the Marmy Rock Show, a guest we've had previously on the Rock Show. I asked them to stay in touch, and I'm glad they did. We've got Seth from the band Psycle. They're out of Rhode Island. Just released a new tune, Kill the Machine. Seth, welcome back to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you back, man. I was a fan of your band instantly when I heard you guys. So, hey, tell us a little bit about the new single. First, what's the tune about?
So this album, going on, what we wanted to do is the EP Surfaces that were released in 2017 had 4 songs on it, and we just, kind of wanted to get people an idea what our sound was. On this album was definitely a little more cohesive. I think that we kind of figured out our sound and adapted it. Kill the Machine it's the title track off the new album. And it kind of goes into the fact of us being influenced outside of our own circle, that outside influence on things in terms of, our beliefs, just information, a lot of stuff, that can kind of change or make us adapt to things based upon other people's beliefs. And that kind of encapsulated Kill the Machine in general. So it's really about, us thinking for ourselves and really finding the answers and the information that fits our lives the best.
So I'm just curious, like when I asked this question, how old is this song? And I asked that because sometimes people put out a song and they wrote it this week. Sometimes bands are like, I've been sitting on this a couple years and working it. How long has this song been around, and what's it, or did you just write it?
So the writing process was about, I'd say, a little over a year and a half for us for the whole album. So I want to say that this song was maybe halfway through the writing process. So I'd say probably, let's say 10 months maybe we've kind of been sitting on it. We had 10 songs that we wrote total for the album. We ended up with 8 for the album, but we wrote 10, and we really kind of wanted to have them have the same, not the same feel, but to fit into what we were trying to convey on the album. And I think hearing the finished products, I think we did that. We're extremely excited about how the music's evolved since our EP in 2017. I hope people they're gonna appreciate that and get that when they're able to hear the whole album. But Kill the Machine as a single is just kind of the tip of the iceberg for it.
So give us a little rundown on where you recorded and produced this. I know it's been out for, you've been working on it for a long time now. Who produced it? Did you guys produce it yourselves, or did you go somewhere?
No, we went somewhere. So we actually worked with the same producer we worked on the Services EP, Chris Paquette out of No Boundary Studios. But Chris did open up a brand new studio. He was originally on the Providence line in a studio, and then he moved to North Kingstown, Rhode Island. He built a whole brand new studio. So we were lucky. We get to play with a lot of new toys, a lot of new stuff that he had. I mean, he upgraded pretty much everything for his equipment, and he did a lot of working in California and around the country, working with other producers and other bands and stuff. So Chris is incredible. His work ethic is amazing, and we had such a great experience working with him on the first EP. We just kind of wanted to go back to that, and we went and sat with him. We sent him the demos we had of all the songs, and that's one thing that we do. We either video or at least record everything. Every rehearsal we record, just so we don't lose anything. And what we do is we took the best demos, we sent them to him before we even got into the studio, so he could be kind of familiar with the songs we're going to start working on.
I've never heard of a band. I mean, I guess that maybe other bands do that, but you're the first person I've had tell me that. That's interesting that you would save all the rehearsal. That's a smart idea. You never know.
Well, honestly, Kill the Machine, strangely enough, a lot of times we'll get in a rehearsal and we kind of warm up, and somebody will start jamming on something, and maybe we'll mess around with it a little bit. And Kill the Machine kind of came out that way. We were looking for something that was more in a vein of a straight up rock and roll tune. We wanted to do real bare bones on this album and have it be a real true rock and roll record. And we actually scoured back through because we knew that we had the original riff for Kill the Machine, and we scoured back through to find it. And that's why we're lucky to record everything, because it was like 3, 4, 5 rehearsals before, and it was right at the beginning. So we had to go through all that material, and we found it. And then what we'll do is we'll send it out to everybody. Our guitar player, Joe, records everything. He'll chop it up and send it out to all of us. And then we'll work on it at home and bring it to rehearsal, with us. So it's a little better we can work on our own before we get into practice.
Now, listening to you talk about the way you do that, have you ever stripped any of these down acoustically? Do you ever do an acoustic version of it? I mean, I know you're not performing them right now, but do you break them down acoustically ever?
We do. My writing process, like if I'm writing something, it always starts on the acoustic. and then we'll transpose it to electric. A lot of our stuff on this album, though, kind of came from just rehearsal. Literally the four of us, facing each other in a single room and just kind of jamming on stuff. We bring down little riffs and send riffs around and stuff. One of the songs on the album called Dying to Live, our guitar player Joe wrote the riff for it, brought it down, and then we kind of just jam it out from there. But it kind of really happens at rehearsal. But in terms of acoustic, I think it's something that we've talked about, and it's something that I think we'd all love to do. We're lucky. Our drummer Jay, he's a great rock and roll drummer, but he's also a great jazz and blues player. He's in the punk, so he can really break it down in terms of the drums, so it would allow us to do acoustic. So definitely something we've talked about and we could do if we needed to. We probably would love to be able to transpose them a little bit to fit the acoustic feel.
So we've talked before, but I don't remember if I asked you this question. Give me a little bit of your musical background. How'd you start? Were you a singer first, guitar player first? What are your roots? Like, where'd you come from, musically speaking?
Never took a lesson. Probably annoyed a lot of my roommates in college with trying to teach myself on how to do things. I came from a big musical background from my parents. Even when I was a kid, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. They were a lot older and pretty much retired. My grandfather used to play the organ all the time, so there was always music going on. And in my house, my mom used to literally rattle the windows when she was doing cleaning and stuff like that. She had, the Beatles albums and, Michael Jackson, Thriller, and Elton John, and Queen. Queen was a huge influence on me, especially with Freddie Mercury. But I grew up on that really good classic rock music. And I didn't pick up an instrument until the end of my senior year in high school.
Oh, wow.
I was a big sports person, football, baseball, and I ended up getting asthma out of nowhere, which was really strange. And I actually had to give up sports, and I ended up picking up a bass guitar first. And strangely enough, I went to college, and my sophomore year of college, I used to help run a coffee house at my college, and you'd get 4 or 5 people that would show up. We do open mics, we do this and that. So I'm like, I've never sang into a mic before. I've never played anything before. So I'm like, I'm going to do something. So of course I told a few people, and I show up at the open mic with a bass guitar. Never sang into a mic before, and the place is packed, like mobbed. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm going to do this. So I went up. I did one song. I did a bass solo vocal, "With or Without You" by U2, and it was probably awful, but the place went crazy, and that was the moment where I was like, this is what I really want to do. And I was always a writer. I always wrote since I was a little kid, so writing poetry and stories and things like that came very easy to me. It was very cathartic for me when I was a kid. So, and from there, I just kind of taught myself. I got an acoustic. I probably sang really badly in the shower in the car for a while, and I just tried to mimic and learn some of the techniques from a lot of the people that I love. Freddie Mercury, Elton John. Those melodies and learning how to write good melodies and stuff. They came from educating myself on them.
Well, I was disappointed to see the show with Lansdowne got canceled. Man, we've been good friends with those guys for a long time, and hey, lots of shows canceled right now. Have you played with those guys a lot before? They're kind of from your neck of the woods, aren't they?
They are, and actually we have a friend of ours who's actually putting on that show, Henry, who used to own a bar called 1150 Oak Bar Grill, and he used to have a ton of nationals that used to come through. We actually opened acoustically. This is really wild. I was in another band for a couple of years, but we opened acoustically for the Randy Roach tribute tour in this small bar, and it was unbelievable, So I got to know the guys from Lansdowne because I was actually doing an acoustic show, a solo acoustic show at that club, and 2 of the guys, Sean and John, the singer, and Sean, who's a guitar player, he works for Red 13 Studios now. They actually came in. They're like, "Hey, do you mind if we jam a tune?" So I gave them my acoustic, and they went up and jammed a couple tunes and stuff. And and I just kind of kept in touch with those guys. Also, the guys in Prospect, Bill, we were lucky enough to play with.
They're frequent guests on the show as well. All the moving parts of those 2 bands.
I know, right? They're great guys, and they do a lot for the music scene. They're all involved in a lot of the production end of things, whether it's music videos or recording and a lot of stuff. They're kind of blowing up right now, which is great because they've done a lot of good work. But we're hoping that Lansdowne show is going to get rescheduled because they hadn't played in our area for maybe like 3 or 4 years, and it would have been a really good show for us together. So we hope we get to do that again.
Yeah, I'm hoping it comes back soon as well. So, hey man, what's the status like up there in Rhode Island? You guys locked down up there? Or what are y'all doing to pass the time? Are everybody stuck inside?
Well, a lot of the Dunkies are closed, so we were just talking about that. All the Dunkies they're closing down, and so everyone's freaking out. No, it's funny, Rhode Island, Rhode Island's what it is, but I'll say they've done a good job so far. The government and what they've been able to do, and what they've done for schools and a lot of stuff. The schools are closed, but I think we're trying to get people to be smart and just say, listen, if we just do what we have to do and get by, and we spend the time to make sure that it's not really about us. Like if I'm, infected by something, it's really about the people with pre-existing conditions that can be hurt, and we don't even know. And that's a consideration we need to take. So we're just, like my family, we're just trying to be smart. Just staying home, living simple, do what we got to do. And I think that's the best way to do it right now, is to just live simple and try to enjoy the time that you have as best as you can. And be thoughtful for other people, and I think that's the most important part.
And a lot of people are asking us, what can your fans do to help you guys right now since you can't play out? Like, what's the best thing? Is it streaming your stuff? Is it buying merch? Like, what helps the bands the most in times like this when y'all can't play?
It's so hard, and honestly, with us right now, because we're in the kind of the album cycle. We're dropping the new single, and then we're setting up a date for the whole album to come out. And one of the things that we've all talked about, and even with the publicist and PR company that we're working with to push the album, we want to be respectful of people right now, and we don't want to be shoving stuff down their throat. Considering people are worried about surviving and taking care of their families and stuff. What we wanted to do is we wanted to release, obviously, we have a video that's coming out with Kill the Machine, and it's going to be dropped on, all the major distributors and stuff like that. But we want to be really cognizant of that. So we're going to maybe readapt what we're going to do in terms of putting out the whole album. We might push it back a little bit to kind of give people some space. But right now, streaming music, buying albums, buying merch to people who we're touring, and that's what they do. I have a day job, which is, great that I can still provide for my family, but at the same time, you invest a lot of time, you invest a lot of money and resources into what we do. I tell people, please, listen to it, share it. Even if you don't buy it, share it to people. Because worst comes to worst, the reason that we're making the music is to try and make a difference in people's lives. Give them some hope. That's really what we're about when it comes to writing and our music. So even if you don't have the money to buy it, share it to somebody. Have them share it to another person. It's really about getting the word out and having it make an impact on people's lives. It's not always about the monetary value of it, but at the same time, people who are losing their livelihoods right now, we should be giving back to them as much as we can. So go out, buy merch. That's the stuff that used to send people, to the next gig and put gas in their car or their RVs or whatever they're using. So I just tell people, be cognizant of that, but spread the word on music. Music is there to help us,
Well, good advice, man. We've been talking with Seth. He is a singer-guitarist from Rhode Island band Psycle. They've just released a new single, Kill the Machine. We're going to play a couple of songs from Psycle tonight. So, Seth, good having you back on the show, man. Take care of everybody up there in Rhode Island, and it's great talking to you again.
Will do. Thank you so much. We appreciate the support, and we hope everyone likes the new tunes coming out. And then, like you said, the album will be out shortly. And just catch us on our website, which is cyclemusic.com, and you can get to all the links and everything that you need right at that main page before you even actually get into the website. So we'd appreciate anybody sharing our stuff and enjoying the music.
All right, man. Hey, thanks so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Same, man, my friend. You take care. We'll talk to you guys soon.